The biggest news that we are tracking for you comes from the field of cricket. The ongoing inaugural Blind Women's T20 Cricket World Cup has put the spotlight on visually impaired Indian women who have overcome immense challenges to reach this stage. In a historic win for women's cricket, India's blind women's team has now defeated Australia in the semi-final of the inaugural T20 World Cup. The team is now headed to the finals in an inspiring event for India. The players come from villages, farming families and small town hostels, with many learning the sport only in the past few years. A total of 6 teams are playing in the cup, according to team manager Shika Shetty. Most of the players are from rural backgrounds, she says, and I quote, "Language and culture were barriers. Families and teachers were often unwilling to let them pursue the sport. And even introducing the rules of blind cricket took time. But now they are all competing with pride." Joining me on the phone line is my colleague Yash Ahuja with more details on this story. Yash, a very heartening moment for the entire country. We are seeing these women, competing for that title, and they have qualified for the finals over there. Yash.
Yes, Shivani, it was pure dominance on the big stage, if I may say. You know, the interesting part of the whole tournament is it is a 6-team event. It is featuring India, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Australia and the USA. You know, it began on November 11th in Delhi. It is being jointly hosted by India and Sri Lanka. The venue for knockouts was moved to Sri Lanka's Colombo. Now we see India defeating the Australian women in Colombo by a good margin. You know, Australia 109 for 9 in 20 overs. And at 11.5 overs, in just half of that, India defeated and went to the finals. Now, this team, it is a 16-member Indian squad. It represents 9 states: Karnataka, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Delhi, Assam and Bihar. You know, the most interesting part is, these players were introduced to the sports not through television, not through familiar players. They were introduced to the sport through school teachers, through disability organizations, through community camps. It shows us how important is community camps and disability organizations. What role do they play in fostering these people?
All right, Yash. I also have Tos Rizvi, senior sports journalist, who's joining us on the broadcast, and Sunil Yash Kalra, cricket scholar. Thank you to both of you for joining us on this very joyous occasion. Obviously, we are seeing the Indian women's blind cricket team going into the finals. We are seeing the girls, to put in that hard work. What I want to, discuss right now, first when I come across, if I go across to Tos, this is relatively new for India, Tos, because even for blind cricket in the Women's League, in 2019, I think they started scouting for, Team India players. So basically, these girls just had a few years to in fact train themselves, and now we see such an excellent performance on the, field.
Exactly, it's heartening. It's heartening to see the way these guys have come out. These girls have, achieved success. I mean, we are still one step away, and definitely it's one of the biggest moments, I would say, considering this is the inaugural Blind Women World Cup for women cricket, and the way they have gone throughout. They were denied the opportunities. Nobody expected them. It was similar like how women cricket recently. I mean, a lot of people who did not expect women cricket to do wonders. Harmanpreet and co, but then they defied the odds and went on to win the World Cup. But then again, kudos to this blind women's cricket team, considering they have sought inspiration from the women's cricket team that won recently in Navi Mumbai, and now they want to double it up, repeat the success, which is what they are seeking inspiration from. Again, it's a heartening story coming from rural areas. These women cricketers with a lot of ambition, and then going through difficult times, coming from farmer families, still I mean, making it to the highest stage and making it to the finals, defeating Australia. Exactly. Remember what happened recently, where Indian women's team defeated Australia, the invincibles in cricket, especially women's cricket. It was the biggest moment of all. But again, we this time the women's blind cricket team have defeated Australia. So I think it's wonderful, great news. Something we should be proud of, making it to the finals and in an inaugural tournament shows these how hungry these girls were, how desperate they were to at least make a mark. I mean, you wouldn't expect the girls to in the first tournament at least try and impress with making it to the first, second round and the semi-final, but then directly in the inaugural tournament, making it to the defeating Australia and making it to the finals, it's such a big achievement. I would say it could be dream come true, but then again, the hunger that these girls have, I think they won't be defeating Australia isn't enough for them. They want more.
Absolutely. And Sauce, when we look at that game itself, that was pure, like my colleague Yash in fact pointed out, it was pure dominance on the field, because in half of the overs they matched that score, they got those runs. Toss.
Exactly. I mean, it shows how much hard work they have put in over the time, the effort they have put in. 2009, you were telling the dream that started, which is realized in 2025. It took 13 years. I mean, it's not without a hard work that they have put in, without the system that they might have had. I mean, it's difficult when you don't have facilities, when you don't have support. But then there are some people, like you said, Shika Shetty. She is the manager. There should be a guiding force and there should be a backup, and this is even if you did without a huge backup, it's still a big story, considering without any major support, making it to the finals, defeating Australia shows the hunger, shows the ability that these girls have. And I'm sure this is just the beginning, and forget the beginning. I mean, this should be the finish of the World Cup, and they'll win the World Cup, and they'll be proud of their achievement. And whatever they did in the last 13 years is the juice of if they win the World Cup, that will be topping, icing on the cake.
And the whole fact was that they come from so varied backgrounds. I mean, their manager has spoken about how difficult it was, in fact, to just get them onto this field, to get them to train them, because blind cricket is a totally different ball game altogether. There are so many different rules that are coming into play over here, that are coming into the picture, and then making them understand, them coming from so many different, farming backgrounds. It would have been such a crazy journey, if I may say, for them.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at the recent examples, whether you talk about Olympics, whether you talk about cricket, a lot of people from the rural areas, from the villages, from the farming background, DP Sharma came from a farming background, they are hungry for success. I mean, they do everything to achieve. I mean, they go all out. The hard work that they put in, the hard yards. I was speaking to a few parents a few minutes ago during a lecture. How different are these people from rural areas hungry for success compared to people from the urban. I mean, I wouldn't like to compare, but the desperation, the hunger, the greed to succeed you see in the rural area, because they have nothing to lose. They have everything to gain. In every day is a learning experience for them. Every second is what they put in, the hard job that they put in, the difficulties that they grow through. They learn from each and every moment, and that is what they from the beginning they are out of their comfort zone, and that is what India is all about. It's an emerging economy, a developing nation, and a dream for the world. So this is what India is, and this is just the beginning. I would say you saw men's cricket, you saw blind men's cricket have done, Divyang cricketers have done recently. Then women's cricket recently did it. Now in the inaugural tournament, the women's cricketers, the blind women cricketers have achieved, although they are just one step away from achieving, but it's still a great start. I would say a great start for an inaugural World Cup.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think I want to rope in Sunil Yashkalra over here. Sunil, we are seeing how great a start this is, because we know that women's blind cricket is still in its nascent stages. We are seeing where these girls are coming from, and to put in all that hard work, it's actually, it seems very similar to what happened with the Women's Cricket World Cup, because there was no visibility till we saw that semi-final, till we saw them defeating Australia. And now I think even over here we will get that visibility on screen as well. Do you think this can be a moment which might change it, which might help progress even this kind of cricket going forward for women?
Megha, thank you for having me on the show. Quick word, I've been watching women's cricket since 2005 World Cup, where India reached the final, and I was inspired by their ordeal, and that's why I created something called the docudrama called Poor Cousins of $1 Million Babies. Well, they're no more. That was in 2010, of course, but things have changed in the last 15 years. I've seen it grow from a small caterpillar, and now it's emerging to become a nice butterfly. But the kind of changes, socio-economic changes Toss just spoke about, is a true reflection of that. Under 19 girls earlier this year in Malaysia defeated the South African girls. It was an amazing moment to watch. Of course, receiving the trophy from Jaisha, the ICC president, in Malaysia itself, Kuala Lumpur. And then, right now I'm here in Colombo, and the scenes were quite, the jubilation was utmost high at that point of time. And it is a matter of great promise and great joy when you see something like this. Because remember, it's not just the growth of the game. Well, the good news is that the sports and goods industry has seen 37% of growth in the cricketing goods. But majority of it is coming from the girls and the girls section. But coming back, not only the business of sports is growing, not only the business of cricket infrastructure is going, but also the goods. And now I think more and more parents, not only in the able-bodied thing, but also in the in the hearing impaired and elite athletes will send in their kids for this. Megha?
Sunil, Shivani, but I want to understand, when we are talking about this entire sport, there is lack of sponsorship, there is lack of funds that are coming into the picture. However, when at such a nascent stage the girls do so well, even if they just reach the final, that's such a big achievement for someone in that nascent stage. Do you think that going forward this will also push forward more sponsorships, more funds?
Surely, thank you for correcting. It's just that things have changed in the last 5 years or so. What is the sponsorship? When you win the World Cup, the state government gives you 2.5 crores, gives you a piece of land, gives you a solid job. Then sponsorship will only give you 20, 30, 50 lakhs. Ask Toss and he will agree to it. When a Maharashtra government gives 2.5 crores for one World Cup, and believe me, beyond the World Cup, you have the player retention, the player purse, the WIPL, the appearance, it goes on to be pretty big. I think that the paradigm has shifted from sponsorship to awards and rewards. I think the rewards is far bigger word in today's context as compared to sponsorship. So I think we shouldn't be worried. And also the match fee that is there, which is increased. I remember the girls in 2005 used to get 5,000 per match per day in Cape Town, and now this has become completely different altogether. Yes.
Do you also think so that the future will be much bigger, even in terms of rewards, if you're saying that?
See, the match days have grown to 67% of the women's cricket all across the world, which means if there were 100 matches playing last year, it's now 167 something matches per annum. And when you put in together the league contact, the social, the first class cricket, it is grown by 300% in India itself. So India is the largest engine of growth for women's cricket. India is also helping the other disciplines and the various categories, able-bodied, under 19, hearing impaired, blind cricket, everything put together. India is the engine of growth. Yes, Toss, you want to walk in?
No, yeah, I agree with Sunil Bhai when it comes to rewards. But I think, what about the basics? I mean, what about the infrastructure? What about the support? I mean, we were talking about, Shivani was talking about the struggle that the women's cricket, the blind cricketers went through, or the women's cricket. What about the initial stages, the money, the sponsorship? The sponsorship matters when you start, when you the invest, the
Yeah.
infrastructure matters, the investment matters, then the system matters then, and that is where, I mean, the other day I was at the wheelchair cricket tournament. They were struggling to find the sponsor. They were struggling to find the umbrella that they were looking at in Mumbai somewhere. So that is where it matters. I mean, rewards and achievements. You get rewards and achievement when you achieve success. But what about the beginnings? I mean, the support that they were that you need at the beginning. That is when you will start producing champions regularly. Than the
Absolutely.
one-off
I think
when you get
that
reward.
support system is necessary in the